These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations mean something, but what? These abbreviations mean something, but what? Locked. Locked.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing. What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Your husband's private papers, do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
This is where I keep my post. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one. That is not the one I need. 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 Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
My archive. I can always consult with it if... This is where I keep... My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.